Now, while we were off having our winter hibernation, Rover got together and did a deal with some car company that nobody's ever heard of in India. And they got a new car together. This is it. It's called the City Rover. And it's not really the sort of thing that we on Top Gear would usually bother with.
No, we would never film that and waste your evening showing it to you, OK? But we thought it would be our duty to actually drive it, find out what it's like. So we called up Rover, said, can we borrow one? Nothing unusual in that. You phone Porsche...
Ferrari, anybody. They just give you a car, you try it.
Absolutely. We'll bring it round tomorrow. Phoned up Rover. We're not lending that to you, matey.
Yeah. Seriously? That's what they said.
Not until hell freezes over, you're not driving one of them, and that's that.
And that confused us, because why would they be so secretive? What were they hiding? That meant either it was rubbish or it was catastrophically bad.
Exactly. So, we came up with a challenge. Bear in mind, we'd normally have just ignored it, but we had to thought, well, how bad is it? So, what we did was we said to James, get dressed up as a kind of Rover customer. Go down to a Rover showroom, OK? And borrow one of these, take it on a test drive and see if you can film a Top Gear report in full without the salesman noticing. And this is what happened.
Right, the dealership's just over there. I haven't seen the car yet, but I do have the brochure, and it looks jolly exciting. It's based on an Indian car called the Tata IndyCar, which is imported to Britain and then rebadged as a Rover. The engine started life in a Peugeot about 400 years ago, but of course it doesn't say any of that in here. It says it's stylish and exciting. Well, let's find out if it is, because here, in my tie, I've got a secret camera. My pretend girlfriend also has a secret camera hidden in a mobile phone, and we've cunningly positioned undercover camera people all round the test route. Right, if we're not back in 20 minutes, turn over to Heartbeat. Now, we can't identify the dealer for lots of boring legal reasons, but the good news is, I'm in. Hiya. The bad news is, I haven't quite got the hang of this tie camera. So this is the City Rover. But then we got our act together, because we had a Top Gear road test to do, starting with interior accommodation. That is quite good rear legroom. That is a most capacious boot. So, nice and roomy, but as for interior quality, oh dear. So I think that Rover have to acknowledge that they can't quite match their German rivals when it comes to interior quality. This does feel like a car from the early 80s. This gear knob, for example, is very, very sharp. The dealer was hovering and obviously thinking I was one of those nutters who talks to himself, but I still had to deliver my verdict on value for money. Now, this is the base 1.4-litre Solo. It's £6,500, and for that you get pretty much nothing. Manual, there's no central locking, there's only one airbag, and the radio comes with a cassette player, not a CD player. I have to say that the Daihatsu Charade, or the new Fiat Panda, is rather better equipped. Because I know the area quite well. I worked out a little route that's about 15-20 minutes. Is that OK? Now for the test drive, and the salesman insists on coming along in the back. Would he notice that I was talking in a bizarre road testing manner? But the gear change is rather old-fashioned on this. It reminds me a bit of the Mark I Vauxhall Cavalier I had in about 1981. To test the brakes, where better than a zebra crossing? And cue the Top Gear pedestrian. Oops, sorry. That's a brake test. They seem to work. Next, ride and handling. There's no convenient twisty B road round here, so we have to improvise. Even at low speeds, it rolls about badly. But what really bothers me is the ride, which, amazingly, manages to be bouncy and jarring at the same time. It's so awful that in front of the dealer I come over all polite and British. It does seem to ride quite smoothly. So, to sum up, the interior is low rent, the ride is poor, and you don't get a lot for your money. The only pluses are it's big inside and the 84 horsepower engine does pull well. But Lord, is it noisy. Anyway, time for an ambitious finale. Will the salesman rumble our Top Gear comparison test as we bring on the Fiat Panda? Yeah, that's a Panda. I think that is actually the basic active Panda. That's quite interesting because I think the Panda's slightly better equipped. You do get electric windows, you do get power steering as standard, you do get central locking. It's got 2 airbags as well because it's got one for the passenger. And it's about £200 cheaper, 6,300. Right, by now he really does think I'm barking, so it's back to the dealership. And there you go, 1 completed road test, 1 unsuspecting dealer, but only 1 verdict. I think I like the Panda more, though, if I'm really honest.
That was fantastic. That was great, but hang on, we've got to be sensible at this. Was that a proper Top Gear test? Yeah. Was it? It was. OK. Did he really not rumble you? You look so shifty.
I couldn't believe it. I kept expecting him to say, "You've got a camera in your tie, haven't you?" But he didn't. He was so chuffed that someone had come round to drive his car. He'd been sitting
Not at all. First time it ever happened. OK, but if it's a proper Top Gear report, you've got to give us a verdict. So, was it rubbish or was it truly dreadful?
OK, this is important. That is the worst car I've driven on this programme.
OK. Actually, it's quite funny when you think about it. All those years we were exploiting India, and now they're getting their own back on us with that thing.